Okay,
Hello.
there we go. Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great. How about you?
I have my giant mug of coffee.
You sure do. Oh my gosh, I want my mug of coffee too now.
I believe coffee was in our original name that we were deciding for this channel.
That's right. We were doing Fox, was it Foxcraft coffee chats?
Something
Something like that.
Sterling and Blythe coffee chats. And
Sterling
then I
and
was
Blythe.
like, well, we should just drop the coffee. It's too many words.
Too many words.
Although, honestly, a lot of people they don't know the name of the channel, so it doesn't hurt anything. Really, it's like once you click on it and subscribe, if you like it, you can subscribe. There will be more of
If you
us.
like it. I'm going
If
to
you
start
like it.
saying if you like it
If you
because
like it.
I have been saying
If you
subscribe.
don't like it, just thumbs down it because the algorithm treats it the same. So that works out pretty well. And for serious, now that we have 6 subscribers, I think if there is something you want us to cover, please put it in the comments and we'd be happy to cover it for you.
Oh, wait, we were actually recording for real.
For real. Well, this
Let's
is real time. This
This is
is,
real
we're
time.
not faking it. We're making it.
That's right. So this is it. So yeah, I had this annoying picture in the back that
I was curious about the picture, but I will bring my curiosity down.
I'll show you the picture. Look at
Okay.
me getting around and walking around my actual room. So
Yes. Yes.
this is oh,
Oh, nice.
there we go. Yeah, pretty cool.
This is for the YouTube people, not so much for the podcast people.
Right, yeah.
It's a beautiful picture. Maybe you can describe it.
It's a picture done in the style of traditional Japanese artwork.
Hmm.
So it has words I can't read.
Uh-huh.
But the coolest thing is that it has this image of what looks like an embracing couple.
Nice.
Except when I got it, I did not know it was that.
Oh, it still sounds
And
sweet though.
it suddenly, actually, Dave said, "Oh, an embracing couple." And I was like, "What?" And then I could see it. It was,
Usually those are positive associations.
yeah, yeah, it was great. So it was a bonus.
My dad knew a little bit of Chinese calligraphy.
Okay.
And he was like, do you want to know the word for happiness? I do not know how accurate this is. The word for happiness was a house with a woman in the house.
I like that.
Do you want to know the Chinese word for trouble?
Yes.
There's a house and there's 2 women inside of it.
Oh
He always
no.
he always thought it was the mother-in-law, but I think he was at odds with a mother-in-law.
That makes sense. Oh my gosh. That is really funny,
The farmer
actually.
side of my family did not uh trust this beatnik intellectual. And although he was part of that beatnik generation, um they were not beatniks, I think. Although rebels and self-described rebels. And my dad had a beard when nobody else in the world had a beard. So,
My folks were also, they were not beatnik, but they were definitely off. They were definitely not part of the mainstream. And actually, they lived in California in the 1960s,
oh
from
wow.
1957 to 1967. But they were too old to be in the um, sort of hippie movement. But they were definitely like my dad had a folk music show on the radio and the college radio, not the. So yeah, it was at midnight because low listenership, but he got there with his guitar and sang
Nice.
songs. Yeah, yeah. So um, hey, I'm gonna switch our view around because this
Okay.
is now annoying me. So
Yep.
we're gonna
Um,
switch to
and
speaker view.
I know you had wanted to talk about the book, but was there something else that you wanted to approach today?
Talk about the book. So I'm old now, and I've forgotten what book it was that we were talking about.
The book is The Rite of the High Priestess.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah, um let me grab that. Is there something else that you want to talk about?
I know we need to finish the Lovecraft laws. Um, and I also know that there is probably some things that we should cover. Um, what is Wicca? What is Celtic witchcraft?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the what is the Celtic tradition, which I think I have learned. Well, I mean, I would say every couple of years I learn more information. So, but I think we have some uh, uh, names, and we also have, I think, some paths. I think I might have talked a little bit about it, but
Hmm.
our teacher was Alexandria Foxmoore, um, and she was part of the Celtic tradition. Um, and the lineage that she claimed was Cyprian. I think she
Hmm.
had sort of a mixed ancestry in terms of Celtic tradition. I want to say Alexandrian, but I could be wrong because she didn't talk too much about her other ancestry. But
Truth.
a lot of other people have said that there's a lot of Alexandrian traditions in our tradition.
Mhm. And Cyprian was the connection to the New Forest Coven.
Yes, and Cyprian drove a motorcycle all the time. He was a great person, but unfortunately, he died in a motorcycle accident. So that's what I know that she told me about Cyprian. So
And that is new to me. So
Lord
it's
Lord Cyprian, yeah. Although she would always call him Cyprian, she didn't
yeah.
use the Lord so much. Um,
And um to me, she called him Brother Cyprian
okay.
because the tradition he came from avoided the lords and ladies because of the pitfalls
Oh,
that
wow.
come along with that. So it was Brother Cyprian. Yeah.
So that's interesting, because Alexandria, although she did use the moniker Lady Alexandria,
Mhm.
um, also sometimes struggled with titles. I think she
Mhm.
wanted to be traditional in the sense of using titles to teach us correctly.
Mhm.
But I think she also struggled because when people, um, would see it all the time when people used Lord or used Lady, um, when they were elevated to that degree, their ego began to inflate, and
Yes.
which could get worse if unchecked, and sometimes, become quite terrible. So this goes back to the tenets, which we did cover,
Mhm.
um, humility, knowing that we're all human, and once you come as a student, you are always a student. You are always learning. And if you're not learning, like a plant not growing, you're dead.
Mhm.
So,
Wise words. Yep.
yeah,
And good to remember.
sure. But I that makes a lot of sense to me why she's always having a difficult time when she was elevating people.
Mhm.
So,
Truth. And some of our relatives out in Ohio um, were the Brotherhood and Sisterhood of Wicca. So
all right.
related to that tradition of using brother and sister instead of Lord and Lady.
I like it. Very Quaker, I guess it reminds me of, which
Mhm.
was also uh, egalitarian and would sit in a circle.
Huh. Who
Yeah.
else sits in his?
Right. No, we had a Quaker student at one point. So she talked about being a Quaker, and they'd all sit in a circle and talk. And I thought that was like very interesting. There was no head at the table, and not a congregation which sat and faced um, a director, if you will,
Mhm.
but sat in a circle and talked. So a very different experience, I think. You know.
There was no single person who had the official connection to
Indeed.
divinity.
Yeah.
A lot of, I think, what witches, pagans, Wiccans do is working on hearing that divinity within ourselves
Yeah. Yes.
and learning to listen to it around us
Yeah.
and seeing it in others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intuition,
Mhm.
listening to that voice within. And
Mhm.
I think as you do, your confidence grows too with it. So I'd say that's good. Yeah.
And back to the ego for just a minute. Like
Sure.
the more you realize how big the world and the universe is, the I don't want to say smaller we feel, but the less important
Yes.
we
Yeah.
feel. We're part of a larger whole.
Yeah. I think the gods care more about the greater good than what we as egotistical humans in a subjective point of view care about. So it's um, very different. And try to remember to take that approach when doing divination and giving
Mhm.
life advice.
Yes. Yes, I don't have a lock on either of those things.
I hear you. I hear you.
So, so yeah, we were going to talk about the book
Okay.
and the
And a little bit tying into our series of Avoca 101, we teach from a book. Uh, and, a line we quote a lot is the book is the right of the high priestess. So, why the high priestess?
that's a great question. Why don't you
So,
answer that question?
so Alexandria said, the god and the goddess are great, but she only knew of the goddess as being able to also inside herself, inside of her womb, also contain the god. So we see it as a, a birthplace of uh, not only the god, but also of information. So the books, is the tradition. So being an oral tradition, and the men were sometimes the protectors. So the men were sometimes the tip of the spear, if you will, to borrow one of their ritual tools, which we'll talk about down the line. So they were protectors. So they were the front men, if you will. They were the ones that stood in front of the high priestess when it came to danger. And the preservation of the tradition, which began as an oral tradition, which became a written tradition, um, by all evidence that I know, that written tradition began when Christianity began to move in. It may have started before, certainly, but I think Christianity accelerated it, because if um, covens and groups were split off into separate cells and not a lot of communication ran between, um, then you'd want to write things down. And if there was danger, like a loss of a person because of the persecution against the witches, it is possible that the book would remain and be protected. So, and talk about hiding things in plain sight. I'd hid my shadow so well. in my room. Anybody could see them. I lost track of them, but they were just tucked down and pushed back, you know. But I did pull it out today. It is a little bit of a massive tome, so don't be intimidated. Um, so my son is on the back, and then there was a word on a calendar, and the word of the day was Deasil, and I was like, Deasil, oh my God. That
It's
has to
perfect.
go in my book of shadows, so I slipped it into the front. Um, but there is a little, um, let's call it a blessing in the beginning of the book. Um, the book is the right of the high priestess to keep, to read, and recite, and the eye that reads it untutored shall quickly lose its sight. The teacher who teaches from it is bound by the law of three. Break faith through this book with the high priestess, and ever cursed you shall be. So be it ordained. And it is signed by Alexandria. Well, although the original is signed by Alexandria, I just copied Alexandria, September 1989, property of Alexandria Foxmoore, which will go into the front of the teaching book. So, and through her, all this we have. So, um, so the idea in teaching the law of three, which is to say karma. So if you're going to teach somebody, then you're responsible for their education, and you want to be wise. And you know, it's good to have natural filters, I would say. Um, um, as we taught, I had more of an open door policy, and then I realized sort of um, quickly that a lot of that anyone that class wasn't really for at this time in their life, or it's just not the right path for them, they would just naturally drop out on their own. So we would never really have to intervene. So um, occasionally you have to remind people it's like, you know, sometimes the aspects in people's lives become more important than, their spiritual path at this time. So, no, that's my thought on the book. Do you have any thoughts?
I do not. I have no thoughts.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
I have no thoughts. Um, I I do like to mention that, I mean, I think we are both aware that there's been a general movement from being very focused on secrecy in the early days to the movement of where everything gets blasted out for everyone.
Right.
And so it's part of the change that Wicca, witchcraft, and paganism has gone through, and it puts, like, our tradition is kind of in an interesting middle ground in that.
Yes. Yeah, in that regard, yeah. We had like one foot in secrecy and one foot in a very sort of public face.
Hmm.
We used our magical names publicly and openly.
Hmm.
And for many people that became the name that they went by
Hmm.
forever.
Yes.
Um, so it's a different approach than other groups that may be more traditional and they want to hold their cards in their bookish of shadows close. And I think that Alexandria did that for some things. I think there's some things that she shared and some things she kept close. Um, but there's a lot of natural laws, I think, which govern in teaching, and there are a lot of natural lessons which come out of as you learn, you will learn new lessons. Like as you learn to wield your power, if you will, then you will very quickly learn lessons about power, which is why we start with the tenets.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.